Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be doing another coaching session for Mr. Magpie. So as always, thank you very much for the generous donation. I think Mr. Magpie is mid-bronze, bronze 3. I forgot to check before the video. But he's working his way on up. He's trying out some Shen, so we're going to see if we can help him out here. So as usual, if this is the first time you've watched one of my coaching sessions, we'll go over some pregame stuff. We'll talk about Shen support really quickly. Then we'll go in, we'll watch the game itself. I'll take some notes. We'll comment on it as we watch it. And then we'll go back and recap probably the best 5 to 10 things that Mr. Magpie could have done to improve his play a little bit for next time. And then I'll talk a little bit more about the member system that I have on the channel. If you're interested in becoming more involved in the channel, you want to come out and play with us on Tuesdays, you want some coaching sessions yourself, you want a discount on those, or anything like that, then we'll talk about it at the end of the video. But yeah, it's just a $20 coaching session. Just email me at strategyprofessor@gmail.com if you're interested in that. If you want to watch more coaching videos, I also have a link to my coaching playlist here. And if you want in-depth champion guides, I just did a Rakan guide. I've done a Leona guide and a Soraka guide so far for the preseason. I'm going to try to do at least one guide per week, and you can click on that playlist and see that as well. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. So as far as Shen support goes, or just really any support, you want to make sure that you're doing at least 1 ward per minute on average. And then for control wards, you want to get 1 control ward per 5 minutes on average. If you run zombie wards, which Mr. Magpie's not running zombie wards this game, then you want to aim for 2 times that amount of normal wards. So if you had zombie wards and it's a 30-minute game, you need to have about 60 normal wards placed. And that's because the zombie wards count as an extra ward. So you just want to make sure that you're getting tons of vision out there. As far as Shen for the preseason, the runes that I recommend are Aftershock, Demolish, Conditioning, Second Wind, Zombie Ward, and Ingenious Hunter. The Aftershock, Demolish, Conditioning, Second Wind, that's pretty standard on virtually everybody. I did a little bit of research on Shen support just to kind of see what pro players are doing, and then what the standard op.gg builds are. Sort of compared them to my own reasoning. Most people, everybody goes Aftershock. That's the whole reason to play Shen right now. It's a very overpowered rune. I'm not going to talk about it a huge amount here, but I'll just go ahead and pull up the rune. I highly suspect this is going to be nerfed in the near future. I would be shocked if Aftershock wasn't nerfed. Sorry, that's a terrible pun. Be shocked if Aftershock is not nerfed within the next 2 or 3 patches. But as of right now, it just gives you a ton of armor. It gives you a ton of magic resist, and it does pretty decent damage. And it's a 20-second cooldown. I think if they're gonna like. Most likely things they'll nerf about this is they will probably make this bonus armor 30% of your bonus armor instead of your total armor. That would be a good place to start, because right now this is what's making Leona particularly really strong in Sejuani. Anything that gets extra armor and magic resist is stacking additively with this. Actually, multiplicatively. It's making them impossible to kill. Anything. And Shen gets a lot of shields off of his passive. In a fight. So the bonus magic resist and armor also apply to the shield. So it doesn't stack as well as it does on Leona, but it does stack pretty well with him because of that. So that's one thing that makes him extremely tanky early on, is this key barrier benefits from all of that extra armor and magic resist when he goes in. So you always want to take Aftershock. People like taking Demolish. That's fine. The second row is not super impactful. I mean, Font of Life is pretty good too for adding extra healing to people, but if you're not going to run Ardent Sensor, which obviously you wouldn't on Shen, then Font of Life is kind of negligible. Demolish will give you some extra damage on towers if you get them to back out of the lanes. That's okay. I think the Tenacity one is, I mean, it's okay. You can get that too. I think Demolish or Tenacity is fine. Demolish is probably a little bit better, just so that every now and then you get a bit of extra chip damage to towers. Conditioning is definitely what you want. I mean, this is like a 450 gold value, maybe even more than that. It's a lot of gold value at 10 minutes. If you're in a really tough lane early on, you might take the magic resist or the armor one. If you think you might tower dive early, you might take the armor one. Or if you're against like a Caitlyn or something that has really nice poke damage, maybe do that. If you're against something like a Zyra, you might want to consider taking the magic resist one, but overall conditioning is going to be your best choice if you don't think you're absolutely going to get murdered in the early game. And then Second Wind is what you should take every time here. This gets you a ton of extra extra healing over time. It's about equal to, depending on, you know, a lot of different factors, it's about equal to 2 Reju beads, which is like a 300 gold value in the early stages of the laning phase. So that's a pretty good value. Now, this is where I differ from most pros. A lot of people will go Hex Flash Traption so that you can Hex Flash out of a bush and taunt somebody, which is really nice, but that requires some decent execution to pull that off. You can do it, especially as a bronze player or a silver player. I wouldn't recommend it. It's just really high risk. Aside from that, it just feels kind of gimmicky to me. Like, it's okay. Like, it can work. Magical Footwear is a fantastic bargain. It's like a 400, 450 gold value. But on anything that's not an AP support, and I pound, you know, my fist on the table about this all the time, you really want Zombie Ward. And if you're going to get something that is going to have multiple activations, like you're going to get 2 items early on that are going to be activatables, then I really think you want Ingenious Hunter. I have a whole video about this. I know Mr. Magpie knows what I'm talking about because he watches a lot of stuff on the channel. But for those of you that don't know, I'm going to make a video specifically about these runes. I talked about it a lot in my Leona video and my Soraka video in the preseason and my Rakan video. But I need to make a separate video just for these. Zombie Ward is amazing as a support player. So basically, anytime that you clear a ward, you get a zombie ward that sits there. Now, it's like a blue trinket. It can be seen, but it has a much larger vision radius than a blue trinket. It's just as far as a normal ward, and it doesn't time out for 3 minutes, which is even longer than a normal ward. Now, this applies if you destroy a ward or if your wards just organically die. So if they just get timed out, you also get the zombie ward. So this is really, really powerful early game for establishing vision, especially before you get your Sightstone. So if we look at, like I said, I don't want to go too far into this, but I do want to make my case about Zombie here because it's contrary to what every pro is doing right now and what it's on nobody's radar. And I think it will be very soon once people just understand just how powerful this rune is. So what this allows you to do with the zombie ward is, like, you can place an early ward, like, if you're on red side or even blue side, if you could put it in this bush early on, like your very first ward, then it times out. You get 4 minutes of vision here, which is so important. That stops so many, like, really slippery gank paths that people can take, right? So a lot of times what's really common if you want to push red side, or really any side, is people will loop around the top side of the river. Like, they might do, you know, like red raptors, or they could do like blue wolves, and then they just wrap around and gank you bot lane. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens some. They don't even have to do it that early. They could go for like a full clear if they want to, and then come back and try to get you. But this will give you vision for 4 minutes early on in the game, which is massive. And then that allows you, you could also, you know, put a ward like over here. You could even like ward their raptors, and that'll give you good vision early. Like, there's so many different places you can ward with zombie wards, and when your 1 minute ward times out, that 1 minute ward turns into a 4 minute ward, unless they go and clear it up early on. So that's just extremely powerful. And then obviously as the game goes on, you can put deep wards in their jungle, and if they don't clear them, then you get free zombie wards out of it. So it allows you to have, most cases you'll have 6 wards. 7 if you include your control ward. There are some cases for like 30 seconds you could have up to 10 wards down at the same time, because you just let your first wards time out after 2.5 minutes, and then you get them zombied, and then you can put down 3 more wards and your control ward, and that's 7 wards at the same time as a support, which is massive, especially in bronze when nobody else is going to be warding. Like, nobody's going to buy wards hardly. So you need to be able to get as many wards as you possibly can. And so that's powerful. So one thing that you want to watch if you run Zombie Ward is you want your wards to time out as much as possible. So try not to replace them if you can help it. Just try to let them sit there and time out so that you get the Zombie Ward, and then you can put more wards in there. Anyways, I don't want to spend too long on that, but I think that's the case for Zombie Ward. And Ingenious Hunter gives you 40% CDR as well, which affects your sweeper, and the more you sweep, the more wards you kill, the more zombie wards you get. So they feed into each other very well. And then that's also going to affect your standard build, which is going to be Face of the Mountain, Locket. I don't know why I'm blanking out on the name. The partnered thing. There, Knight's Vow. All of those are actives, and they get Ruby Sightstone. So this is the standard Shen build, is you'll go Ruby Sightstone, Face of the Mountain, Locket. That gives you double shields to protect you and your allies, and then Knight's Vow is still an extremely good bargain. All three of these are activatable, and you already have Ruby Sightstone. So it's like they're going the Ingenious Hunter build, they just don't have Ingenious Hunter with it. You know, like, what? So I think that it fits perfectly with the itemization of Shen, and gives you a lot of power. I mean, even having an extra Knight's Vow, because of Shen especially, he can warp in on people on the other side of the map. So let's say that you want to ult top lane to make a play. You've already got your Knight's Vow. It's on your bot laner. Well, now you can put it on your top laner as soon as you show up, because it's going to have a much lower cooldown. So usually it has, I think, a 2-minute cooldown between when you can tag another partner with it. And now it's going to be much lower. It's going to be closer to like 45 seconds. That means that you can kind of zip around the map with your ult or just through normal rotations and put it on different people to react to different situations without worrying. So for example, like if you don't have Ingenious Hunter, you might ult top lane. And then if you put your Knight's Vow on the top laner, then when you go back bot lane, you're going to have 2 minutes where you can't put it on your bot laner. And that's going to suck, because you're going to lose 20 armor and the movement speed, and you're not going to have the 12% you know, unique passive bonus, because that's not going to be your partner anymore. The bot lane's not your partner, it's your top laner, because you ulted up there and put it on them. So it is useful to have reduced cooldown on Knight's Vow so that you can switch partners more often. And then it's obviously very good on Locket and Face of the Mountain. I just think it's undervalued just how good that could be on Knight's Vow on someone who's as mobile as Shen is as well. So that's what I would run. I would run Zombie and Genius. You are giving up the Hex Flash, which is cute. You know, it does allow you to flash in and get some taunts. You'll have to see. I mean, it's a macro call versus a micro flashy play call. You know, if you want the flashy plays, you can go with the Hex Flash into taunt. It's okay. It's cute. I mean, ideally, Shen is not the engager. Like, you want to be someone, like, you want them to engage onto you, and then you ult onto that person, and then when you show up, then you peel with your taunt. That's the ideal. If you want to play a hard engaged champion, just play Alistar or Rakan or Blitzcrank or something like that. I think Shen is much more of a peeler zone control type of champion. Like, yeah, he can engage with his taunt, but he's much better when he or when he peels near his allies, and he can use that W to deflect damage off of them. So I think that's, you know, in the mid to the late game, that's what you're going to do. Early on, yeah, you start fights in lane with your taunt, and then you've got Aftershock, and you can just blow people up. So he's very, very powerful early. They did nerf his Q quite a lot, which is why a lot of people were playing him. So he just had absurd damage with his Q and Aftershock early on. So they nerfed that, but I don't know. To me, you're giving up too much to get Hex Flash and Boots. I think giving up Zombie and Ingenious, especially when you're already going to get 3 activatable items in Ruby Sightstone early. And Shen can also, this is similar to Rakan, Shen can use his E to dash through walls, so he's actually pretty safe. He's not as safe as Rakan, but he's pretty safe to go into their jungle and get those deep wards, and that's what you want for zombie wards, so that when they zombie, you know, you get really nice vision of them. So unlike Alistar, unlike Blitzcrank, he can get in there and get those deep wards a lot easier. You know, because he can come in and, like, for instance, E over the Dragon Wall, drop a ward here, and then use the Blast Plant to get back. Or, you know, he can just naturally walk in here, try to ward this. If there's an enemy there, you know, whatever, he just shadow dashes over the wall and gets away. Kind of like Rakan Wing over walls. So he does share that quality with Rakan, with his ability to get deep wards and get away safely. So that's really nice, especially if you have zombie wards. So I recommend Zombie. I saw in the loading screen this time that you did go the standard, I assume Hex Flash, but you went in the Inspiration tree, or whatever it is, the funky tree. I think it's Inspiration. Right? Yeah, the Inspiration tree. So that's what most people do. They go Hex Flash Boots. You know, I'm in the minority. Obviously, pro players are pro because they're really good, but I just think that they haven't, I don't know. I think that Ingenious and Zombie are way better, especially lower elo. You got to remember, pro players, everyone on their team's going to be warding a lot too. Like, everyone's going to have control wards. They're all going to be using their yellow wards. There's a good chance the jungler might run zombie wards so that they can zombie their, you know, yellow wards for the first bit of the game. But when you're having to solo put all the wards on the map, bronze, silver, gold, usually even in platinum, you know, I just think Zombie and Genius is better. But it's macro versus being able to make a flashy play. So it's up to you, but I would prefer these. Good build order. I mean, the standard, just Vow, Ruby Sightstone, Face the Mountain, Locket. This is always what you're going to get. Your boots are variable. Ninja Tabi are very good, not only because they block physical damage, but they also allow you to tank tower shots better. They allow you to tank Baron, Dragon. A lot of stuff you can do with Ninja Tabi. Very powerful boots. You can go Ionian boots. One problem with this build is that you're getting Locket and you're getting Ruby Sightstone. So that's going to leave you pretty dry on cooldown reduction. And there's not an easy way to get that unless you go into the sorcery tree, which is awful. Don't do that so that you can get, I forgot what it's called, the overcharger thing, for the 10% CDR. But, you know, it sucks because you're only going to have 20% CDR off of Face and Vow. Like, you can go, I have the Equinox, and that would give you another 10%, but nobody does that. Like, you want Face of the Mountain because that shield is really powerful on Shen. You get to shield yourself and shield someone else. So almost every Shen is going to go Ruby Face. That's just standard, right? So everybody goes Ruby Face. Like, you might find an Eye of the Equinox in here somewhere if you look really hard and you scroll down enough. Like, you might, like, okay, there's a couple in here. But I think overall you just want that Ruby Face and then lock it so that you just have a ton of shields. Because Shen kind of lacks utility. Like, he's very good early. He does have his normal shield on his ult. But he doesn't have as much crowd control as someone like an Alistar or someone like a Leona. And so he really needs that extra utility. He really needs those extra shields. So that's how I would run it. So the boots are variable. Some people, you know, Merc Treads, if they have a lot of CC or magic damage, is good. Some people do go Ionians. This is the greedy build, but this does give you 10% extra CDR, so you're not going to be quite as tanky. But if you're snowballing pretty hard, you might be able to pull that off. CDR is very good on him, because obviously he wants as many taunts as he can get. He has really long cooldowns on everything, especially his ultimate, which is very high impact. So the CDR boots are nice. They are a luxury, but they are nice if you can get them if you're really far ahead. But I think standard, if you're just not sure what to get, I would go Ninja Tabi. Now, I wouldn't go mobility boots on him. He's already pretty mobile. As I explained before, he can E over walls to get away from people. And he's not really like a notorious ganker. Like, he's much more of a peeler, you know, reactor type of champion versus someone like a Blitzcrank or an Alistar who want to start fights. So, once again, Hex Flash is cute, but, you know, it's the same reason why nobody goes mobility boots is because he's not really much of an engager like Roamer. Like, he can, but that's not where he shines most. So that's why most people just get some kind of standard tier 2 boots, either Mercury Treads, Ninja Tabi, or Ionians, and it just depends on game to game. So if you're not sure, I would default to Ninja Tabi, just because that also blocks Baron and tower shots if you need to tank those. So there are a lot of junglers and top laners that just aren't playing tanks right now. And so being able to go in there and tank that Baron when you get an ace at 25 minutes could actually be really important. Okay, so Ninja Tabi. And the last item, you probably won't get there. If you ever get there, there's a lot of weird stuff you could go here. I said Redemption because you're already going to have 3 shields, because you're going to have Face the Mountain, Locket, and then your shield off of your ult. So you're going to have 3 shields that would benefit off of Redemption. That just gives you one more team fight item, and you're already going to be a high level once you get that, so it'll still be pretty high impact. So I think Redemption's probably the best 6 item. You could also go Banner or ZZ Rock Portal if you really need to pressure side lanes. I mean, Shen is a support. Like, in theory, you know, you could just say, whatever, go Banner of Command really early and just push side lanes with Banner because you do have your ult, so you can go back. The only problem is you're not going to be as strong as an enemy side lane pusher, so that is a strategy. I won't go too far into that, but that is an option if you want to try that. You could go Banner and just go in a lane that's where their top laner is not, because you have your ult. So you can split push side lanes with Shen. I mean, that's how he's used traditionally in the top lane role. Now, you're not going to split as hard as a top laner because you're not going to have Tiamat, and you're not going to have the area of effect, the fire cloak thing. I'm just blanking out on names today, but you're not going to have the fire cloak or the Tiamat to help you wave clear. So that is an option if you want to do that. You know, if you're going to go Banner, you have to rush it first because it's also a gold generating item. So that's possible. I mean, you could go Banner, Ruby, Vow, Locket. So it's up to you. Once again, pro players aren't going to do that because their team is going to know how to manage their macro. They're going to rotate. They're going to respond to banner correctly. But that just may not happen in solo queue, right? People may not come and stop you if you banner. So, and that would give you 10% more CDR, which would be helpful. But you'd be giving up probably Locket in a team fight if you did that. So you'd lose a lot of power if you went banner. But that is an option that's on the table as well if you need more split pressure. What are you working with here on your team in this particular game? Okay, Gnar in theory should be a good split pusher. I mean, you could potentially banner this game. You have a really good team fight comp, though, with Twitch and Talia. I think having all the shields would be very nice against Zed, also, so that he can't one-shot your Twitch. You know, having Locket plus Face of the Mountain early would be really nice against Zed. So, yeah, I wouldn't go banner this game. But there might be some circumstances where you'd want to go banner early for extra split push. Anyways. And then you want to max your E, your Q, and then your W. You want that taunt up as much as you can possibly get it up. And it gives you a 2% lower cooldown per point in taunt. Then your Q, of course, does a lot of damage. Your W is just kind of like a nice once per fight ability. Okay, how are we looking on time? We're going really long. Okay, I didn't mean to make this into like a Shen theory video. People talk about Shen a lot, and people are curious like why he's played, how you should build him, what's going on with him. So I just wanted to mention him. You know, a little bit there because he kind of is the flavor of the month. He does nice base damage, and like I said, he's relatively safe with a Shadow Dash, and it's an area of effect crowd control for team fights. So I personally think, and I know you said this in your email, you know, I feel like Alistar and Rakan probably do what he wants to do better. But you know, he does have his uses. He does more damage than both of them early. So if Leona gets really nerfed hard, then Shen would be like the premier early game bully tank. He already is pretty good at that. He's safer than Leona because he can dash away. Like Leona and Alistar can only go in, but like Rakan, he can get away from stuff. So he's a lot safer in lane, in theory, and he's safer when he's warding. So that's kind of his difference between Alistar and Leona. And I guess he does similar damage to Leona. You can definitely one-shot people early. Even after the Q nerf, he can do quite a bit of damage. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get in here without much further ado. Oh, let me turn the sound on here real quick. I muted it so that you guys didn't hear that heroic music in the background. Okay, there we go. All right, let's get in here. I might make an entire like separate video about Shen support just because people, I know, probably want to hear about it. I've tried it. I mean, it is cool. So it's basically like I see it as sort of a less flexible Rakan that doesn't scale as well, but in exchange for that, you have a lot more kill pressure in lane, and you're personally going to be a lot tankier, so that you can tank Barons, you can tank towers better. So yeah, if that's what you're in the market for, I think that's his specific niche. He's like a safer Leona. He's a safer Leona with less crowd control. I think his big one is he can split push. Like, that's a major strength of him that, I don't know, if your team doesn't have split pusher, like, he could come out and split in solo queue from the side lane, which is an interesting option. So, I don't know, maybe Banner would be a better... Okay, good. What are you against? Pantheon? It's unlikely Pantheon would steal. If Nunu's going to go steal his red... I can't read your chat, but if Nunu said ward my red because I'm going to steal his red, I guess that's a pretty good move. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, good. Yeah, hang out in here. Don't show. Don't show. Oh, let me turn off their vision. Okay. Now, as soon as Twitch kills... No, I would wait on that. I'd wait on that. Wait on that. You want to wait till you hit level 2, because Nami's just going to heal whatever you do level 1. You guys don't have a heal. Okay, there you go. Yeah, once you get level 2, that's when you do it. Now, what you want to do also... Let me go back and see if he did this or not. Watch this again. See what you did with your Spirit Blade. No, you missed it there. Okay, so what you want to do here is you always want to make sure that you hit them with this blade. So you need to be aware of where the blade is. And then you want that blade to pass over. You want to put yourself between the blade and the person so that the blade passes over them, because that empowers your Q to where it does a lot more damage. So let me show you here. Okay, so he pulls the blade to you, collides with enemies, are slowed for this amount. Shen empowers his next 3 attacks, blah, blah, blah. If the Spirit Blade collides with an enemy champion, the empowerment is enhanced, increasing bonus damage and gaining 50% bonus attack speed. So you get 50% bonus attack speed, which is massive. That's going to let you get your 3 hits. Dealing bonus magic damage. Total increase. Oh, does it literally double the damage? Oh, it doubles the damage. Wow. Or does it just double the it doubles the percentage. Or it increases the percentage by 50%. Okay, so the base stays the same regardless, but you get a higher percentage of the target's max health. So you get 4% of their max health early on instead of 6%. Which is pretty big. I mean, 4% Nami's going to have like 500 health at least, so getting an extra, 2% off of that is going to be 10 per hit. That's like 30 extra damage over your 3 auto attacks. That's a lot. I mean, that's, over double what the damage is. So basically, you always want to make sure that the blade passes through them when it goes to you. And you missed it a little bit there. Let's back up. We'll watch it one more time, then we'll move on. I just want to make this point about Shen because it's something that is not really obvious if you don't play Shen a lot. Yeah, so you want to go right there. See how that didn't pass over her? It went directly to you. If you just moved over like 1 step, then it would have hit her. So I don't know if you're aware of that interaction or not, but I just wanted to point that out, or people who are watching. Okay, so you want to keep pushing in. Be a little aware that Pantheon could pop over here any moment. No. Taking tower shots. Taking tower shots. No, run. They're going to try to all on you. Run. Just run. Twitch has got him covered. Just run. Okay, y'all are going to get first blood here, probably. Okay. Maybe a clever bait. Who knows? But yeah, I like the aggression, but I would say don't do that early. Like when they're near that tower. Also, you don't know where Pantheon is. You know he started blue, so it's unlikely he's on the bottom side of the map. But we haven't seen him on the top side of the map yet either. So it's totally possible that he did like a full clear and was just walking back down here to get Scuttle or to gank you or something like that. Okay, he's top side, so he was at his Raptors. So yeah, I would at least wait if you want to engage like that. I would at least wait until they're like in the middle of the lane, because like right there, it's just so dicey. Even if you hit him with that taunt, yeah, go ahead and back. You don't need to back. You need to back after kill. Like this Twitch needs to back. I know he's waiting for a BF sword, but okay, that was good. See, she was a little further off the tower that time, so that's pretty good. Making a note about make sure that Q hits. Okay, and then just to be a little careful with the jungler. Y'all need to back. I didn't see if you got it that time. Let me see. Okay, so where? Okay, so the blade's right here. So you want to be on her left shoulder when you do it. Now, I can't tell if you got it empowered or not. I don't know the animation for it, so I'm not sure if you got it empowered. But I would just take your step one more step to the left to make sure that you got it. It was very close. I don't know if that counted as hitting them or not. I don't think it did. I don't think it did. So you just want to make sure you're taking that extra step after you taunt to make sure that you get those empowered autos. Yeah, it's annoying. Okay. I would have backed after the first kill, though. Does he have a BF sword? Ew. God, he's going Hurricane first. That's gross. Okay, stop. Wait, stopwatch. No, 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 no. I guess it does. It sells for 120. I don't know if you can sell broken ones or not, honestly. I'd have to look that up, but... I mean, you're not going to turn it into anything. I'm not a huge fan of stopwatch. It also clutters your inventory. Like, you have to sit there with that thing in your inventory forever. You're not going to get a GA. You're not going to get an hourglass. And you're not going to get gargoyle stone plate. So it's not going to build in anything. Like, it's cute, but I don't think that's good on Shen. I think if, you know, with... Okay, good. I like the control ward. Now, keep in mind that Pantheon is most likely just going to drop in from nowhere, too. Like, it's really... You're going to have to get deep wards for him. He's kind of like an Eve. You got to watch him when he's doing his camps. So it's unlikely that he's going to wrap around, but I like the idea. You know, and I don't know if you have Hex Flash. The reason to go Inspiration is if you want to go Hex Flash. I don't think I can see your... I can't see your runes. But I would actually, because you guys have pretty good control of this, I would actually pink here instead of here. Nunu already has good vision up here for you. This is one of those rare occasions where the, you know, your allies actually are warding very well. Let me see this again. Walk up and taunt her? Yeah, okay. She's just like AFK or something, typing. Okay. I would have potentially just flash taunted that too. I mean, I guess you can just walk up and taunt her. But if you start your taunt and then flash onto somebody, it leaves very little counterplay. Okay, good. So y'all were basically gifted this one. But yeah, I would put the control ward here because you have a pretty... Okay, Pantheon's up there, so watch out for that. Is he 6? No. But yeah, I would put the control ward here. So that they can't ever walk up to this wave because they have to be afraid that you could taunt him. And this is where like the people with Hex Flash like probably abuse it in higher elos. If you get an advantage and you control ward this, then you're always a threat to Hex Flash out of that bush. Nice. Okay, good work. Pantheon could be 6 soon. I think y'all can probably beat him. Who wants to come down here? Ooh, almost. Almost. No, 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 no. Don't exhaust that. Don't exhaust that. Are you 6? Can you ult? Ult. I would have ulted that. Someone in there. Like, when they were fighting like that, when they ping you like that, I would definitely ult. I didn't see it right away, too, because I'm commenting and I'm, like, looking down here. But, yeah, if you're going to play Shen, you got to keep an eye. And that would have been a great time to go ahead and ult because it's pretty close to your lane. Like, if you ult top lane, like, sometimes that's okay, but the problem with that is you're going to be really late coming back to lane and Twitch is going to lose a lot of CS. But if you ult this little fight right here... Let me go back and just look at it. If you ult that fight, you can get back to your lane really quickly, so you're actually not sacrificing that much. So let's see what happens if we are just like, you know, playing this perfectly. When should you ult this? Okay, so you see Pantheon here, in theory. You missed your stuff bot, that's fine. Okay, right here, you should start noticing. Okay. Go ahead and ult him. That's what I would do. Ult, 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 ult. You could even ult, like... So it ended up okay. He didn't die anyways, and you were able to... Talia got the kill with a flash. But I would have ulted it. And even if you didn't ult it, rotate up there. So yeah, like I said, I was a bit late on it too. Spotting it. So I was watching down here and commenting, but you need to develop that kind of, you know, even better map awareness, because that's one of the major things of Shen is his, you know, global presence. I would go ahead and shadow dash over this and knock that plant out. You always want to control the plants. If you get a chance. Like, the Twitch is going to be fine in lane for 5 seconds for you to go do that, because Nami's dead. So, yeah, I would just go up here. Because this takes away a Pantheon gank route, because he doesn't have any other way to get over this wall, other than that blast plant. Now, yes, he can ult in. I'll just run. Just run. Pantheon could drop in here, too. Y'all are kind of low. Whoa, Misfortune has teleport? Yikes. Okay. Yeah, I should have noticed that earlier. Yeah, that's... You can fight her all day. She doesn't have an exhaust or anything. But yeah, be aware of Pantheon drop here. He hasn't ulted. I haven't seen him ult. You always got to watch those globals. Heimerdinger has teleport also. Now, I don't think they have wards... Yeah, there he is. You're both probably going to die here. Yeah, just do your best to run. Are you popping potions? Pop all your potions. Okay, wow, you both got out. Okay, good. Okay, good. Well, you got out of there, but you should have been out of there faster. Like, that was... They screwed something up there. I don't know what they screwed up, but they screwed up something. So they should have... You should have been dead. Like, I think the Nami should have been able to bubble... Like, she should have eat herself, slowed the Twitch... Now, Twitch is just donating a kill. Okay. Well... Y'all managed to get out of there, and then he just donated a kill. There's not much you could do about that, but you could have been out of there before Pantheon dropped. It's pretty obvious that's where he's going to go, in my mind. Just because y'all are so pushed up, and Misfortune's probably been crying at him all game. That's probably why she was there and you killed her, because she was typing to him. Like, if we could see the text on their side, it'd probably be something like, oh my god, this jungler sucks. We got an AFK jungler, why don't you come help me? You know, that kind of stuff. So... If you see someone typing, that's kind of a pro tip there. Well, I'm not a pro, but like advanced tip there is if you see someone typing, they're either lagging, or if you see someone standing still, they're either lagging or they're typing, and it's likely that they're typing. And so, especially if you're winning a lane, bot lane, and you see them stand still for a little bit, that means they're communicating with their jungler. That doesn't mean the jungler is going to come, but that means, you know, there's a very high probability that the jungler is going to come. Because they're probably crying, come help me, to the jungler, right? So the jungler may tell them just to beep off, but, you know, there's a decent chance the jungler comes down there at that point. So you got to be aware of that. And it's so perfect just to drop on a Twitch from behind like that. Okay, once again, they can come at you. You don't have this controlled. They know you don't have flashes. Like, he could very easily walk up and pop over this. Even though he doesn't have ult. He's coming down river. Do you have... Okay, you have a ruby. He's coming. No. Yeah, taunt. Okay, good. Once again, you need to step... You didn't get the empowered thing on him. And if you got the empowered, he probably would have died. When you go through and you press Q, you need to make sure that the blade hits him. It's really important. It's a lot of extra damage. So yeah, y'all should have backed up. His ultimate is on like... See, it's already like a quarter up again. It's 120 seconds with no CDR. And he already has 10% CDR. So, you know, it's like a minute and a half. A little bit more than a minute and a half. So it's going to be up a lot. Yeah, y'all got to watch that Pantheon. Let me write some of this stuff down. Okay, so... Okay, so control enemy plants, care for the bush. I don't know about getting Ruby that early. I would probably just go normal Sightstone and start upgrading your Targons into something so that you get 4 charges. That's one of the only abilities, like one of the only gold items where you actually benefit a lot from moving it up to tier 3. Every other one, you don't get anything really. Like the coin item caps out at tier 2, right? And the Spell Thieves item caps out at tier 2. You only ever have 3 charges of the Spell Thieves, right? But this, when you get to tier 4, on the Equinox item chain, then you actually get a 4th charge. So you do get a benefit off of it. You get more gold off of it over time. Yeah, just go for it. Taunting. There you go. Now you got your empowerment. I'm pretty sure you got it on that one. See how much extra damage that was? Now, yes, Twitch did get a buy there as well. But a lot of it's you just do a lot more damage. Okay, use this time to go get wards. Jungler's dead. Jungler's dead. Get in here. Yeah. You can run him off the tower at least. Okay, yeah, get the tower. Well, you're out of a wave. No, just back up. You're gonna... Just back up. So what I want you to do here is I want you to ward his wolves, and then I want you to ward his blue. What? What was that damage? Oh, he's... Wow. He's got rotted. Okay. Now, run. Okay, so it's not your fault that he died, but you're enabling his bad behavior by being there. Okay, so it's not your fault, but because you're there with him, you guys aren't going to get this tower, first of all. It's not happening. But if you're not there, then he won't be there. He's less likely to be there, right? So he feels like he's safe because you're there. Yeah, so y'all are like diving towers. Like you should just go ward this, and go get dragon. Yeah, so, yeah. And once again, there's a Pantheon, so he could ult behind you guys. So y'all, you gotta start respecting this Pantheon. And the reason I'm telling you to ward his camps is so you can see where he is, so that you know to back up. So if he's like over here at his wolves, you know you need to back up bot lane. You need to play safer because he could come and drop on you. This is definitely a Ninja Tabi kind of game, so you need to upgrade and get that Ninja Tabi soon. Yeah, and I would have gone with normal Sightstone and then start getting your Face of the Mountain. So I would have gotten the Kindle Gem after that. Okay, so care for pan ults, control enemy plants. But yeah, Talia would have backed up, probably. Or just ping her back and just ping, like, Dragon. Because she thinks she's safe with you there. So she's going to play more aggressive, and that's enabling her, or it's like baiting her to be more stupid, right? So it's not your fault that she's doing that. But it is giving her the confidence to do that. It's making her overconfident. Okay. Okay, let me back up here. I heard something. I was other room there. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't. You need to ping him back. What? Okay, you've got your ult. Ping him back. Ping, I don't know what Nunu's doing. You guys, you need more vision in here. Okay, that was a good taunt. You need to ult Twitch, ult Twitch, ult Twitch. Yeah, I would have ulted Twitch there. Wait until Pantheon lands his jump on the Twitch, and then, like, right there. Because what happened is you taunted at the same time that he'd already landed his jump, so... Twitch still got stunned. What are you leveling up, by the way? Okay, you did level taunt. That's good. That's tough. But this is also where, like, a Face of the Mountain would help you a lot. So that he doesn't get blown up. I mean, I assume, like, with Ruby, you do get the 4th ward, but you're not really getting that much ward coverage to begin with. No, back up. You guys need to get away from that thing. Okay, I guess it worked out. But, like, when he drops that big turret, you guys have to... Typically, you want to respect that. I guess you all killed him fast enough, but that thing does a lot of damage. He has an extremely low damage build. Like, if he had a Leandri's there or something, it probably would have been lights out. Okay, 3 are dead. Yeah. You go one more, At least walk it into the tower. Okay. Yeah, if you're going to ward this, like, ward this, and then come over and ward this. You should be okay if one person... You need to go deeper wards than that. You need to walk around here... you need to switch to a sweeper after you get your forward item. Switch to a sweeper, hit this plant, clear out all that stuff, ward here. Get their plants, knock out this plant, and knock out the blast plant there. Just always take away their plants. Okay. Come over here and ward this. Ward this, ward this. Okay. Kind of like where she did, but here. Ward this. Ward that bush. Ult. You gotta use these ults. Okay, that was good. Get out of there, get out of there. Abort, abort. This needs to be warded. You have 3 wards. Yeah, they're just... Your team's just playing peekaboo around this bush, and they're winning this peekaboo war. So you need to have that warded. Just so that your team, like... won't... People just don't understand things they don't see. So they don't see the enemies there, so they just keep, like, face-checking. Like, Talia died face-checking that, so just ward it. So as you're walking towards places doing things, just drop wards in good spots. So, like, as you were walking through down here, just drop a ward here, come over here, drop a ward here, and you see you're going to be fighting bottom, just go ahead and drop a ward here. And that way, like, if someone tries to come in from behind you, you can see it. Or, you know, if you're trying to run like that, you at least have vision. So that you can make better decisions. I mean, you're going to go back after that play and get more wards anyways. So, you might as well just drop wards. See, this thing right here is doing so much damage right now. Because after most plays, after a bunch of people die, you're going to go back to base anyway. So even if they aren't the most ideal wards, you know, it's okay to drop them. Because you're going to get more anyways. So, you know, if you're worried about, like, oh, I just put a ward up here on Raptors. I'm worried about losing that ward if I drop wards over here. You know, don't worry about it. You can always go put wards back on the Raptors later. You just really want vision around key objectives. Yeah, I don't like that there. I mean, that's okay. Like, okay, if you get this kill... No, stay on her. Stay on her. What? Where are you going? Misfortune's top. Y'all should be able to get Infernal here. But I really want to see you save those ults for Twitch in a team fight. Yeah, he's the big ticket. He has most of the kills. This Nunu is cute, but this Twitch is really what's going to determine this game. He has the most farm, too. So this is where you have to... Oh, and she might die. This is where you kind of got to understand what their win condition is. Their win condition is assassinate Twitch. It all begins and ends with that. If they don't kill Twitch, you're going to win the fight. If they do kill Twitch, you're probably going to lose the fight. So you need to save your resources for that. Even if they interrupt your ult, like even if you're like standing right next to Twitch, and let's say that you try to ult him when Zed ults him or something, and then Pantheon knocks you out of it, I'm pretty sure they still get the shield. You just don't appear there. So you're pretty much just putting a massive shield on them with your ult when you're really close to them. So don't worry about like getting interrupted. You just need to get that damage reduction on the Twitch. And if you're standing close to him, then your W prevents a lot of damage too. You have... What are you going Locket next? No. You need Knight's Vow. Knight's Vow makes you a lot tankier. It gives you a lot of armor. A lot of value out of that. And then, it also prevents damage on the Zed. Yes, I would either go Face of the Mountain or, Knight's Vow. So if you had the shield, the ult there, you could have saved Twitch from the Zed. Now, Zed's getting pretty big. Twitch should have got Ninja Tabi. But you can't control that. Yeah, what I want you to do is save your taunt. Wait until someone goes on the Twitch. Drop your W on that Twitch. Taunt. Most likely the Zed. I mean, Locket's not awful here, but the thing is, like, usually want Locket as like third item because it scales more based on the levels that you have and based on your bonus HP. So if you complete Knight's Vow first, that is going to mitigate a lot of damage, burst damage on the Twitch, 12%. It's also going to make you personally tanky. It's going to give you CDR, which is very important, so that you have more ults to protect the Twitch. Locket does not give you CDR. Now, Ruby plus Locket is nice. That is nice. No, she needs to... You need to put more wards down. Okay, good. Yeah, leave. That thing hurts. Just taunt over the wall. Or, okay, I assume you just missed it, but you can taunt from here to here. If you're right on the edge of the wall. That's what you should have tried to do there. I don't know if you missed it or you were trying to taunt this way or what, but you always want to use your dashes over walls if you're trying to escape. Alright, you got your ult back. You want to hold this for Twitch. You need, like, there's just not enough vision here. Especially if you're going to invest in that 4-ward item early, Ruby, which it's not the worst thing in the world. You know, like I said, I probably would have rather had Face so that you get more gold faster. And it also gives you a nice shield to help against Zed. It's a low cooldown shield too, which is really nice. I don't know what... I mean, you can't help what Talia's doing, but... Oh no, did you ult that? I was down there watching bot. Don't use the ult for single kills like that. You need to save this ult for big team fights. Yeah, she doesn't need that, you know? Like, she's gonna die anyways, probably. I don't know what... Like, that's cool, but you're not gonna get a big objective. Like, you don't want to use your ult unless it's gonna be for a big objective, because it's a really long cooldown. Like, you need to save that to put on Twitch when Zed ults him in a team fight. That's what you need. Okay, no. Lock it him. You gotta lock it him. Did you have lock it up? You did. And you have Face. You need to stick to Twitch. Like a glove. If you don't have your ult. If you have your ult, you can go do other things. But you need to stick to Twitch. So what you might actually consider in this game is you can go split push a side lane because no one else is doing it when your ult's up. But yeah, don't try to taunt the Zed. Just wait. Zed will go on... He's going to go on the Twitch every time. And so you need to save your locket in your face of the mountain and just, like, stick all of that to him. And then use your W to prevent, like, auto attacks on him. And then try to taunt him. When like, as soon as his shadow finishes. Just use everything. Every fight. to try to stop Zed from killing Twitch. And that's, I mean, that's really the, I mean, unless Pantheon gets on him, which it's unlikely, that's really the only threat. Like, Heimers shouldn't ever be on the Twitch. And then these guys aren't going to do anything to Twitch, probably, at this point in the game. Or they shouldn't be. You know, public enemy number 1 is Zed going on Twitch. That's their plan A, B, and C right now. So you need to just counteract that as much as you can. Like, use all the shields. And I hope you get Knight's Vow next. I don't know, but... Okay. Zed's bottom. I'd keep going. I would just keep pushing this. Yeah. No, you need to ward deeper than that. So when you walk over here, just go ahead and ward in this bush. You can ward in the bush over this ramp here, and you can ward, like, right here. Now, they're flanking you. Okay, good. The ward might actually win you the game here. Okay, good. Here. Now, Zed's going to show up soon. You've got your ult. Okay, Baron. Okay, tier 2. Okay, push tier 2 and then Baron. I mean... Okay, that's fine. Be ready to ult. Watch him. Lock it. Did you lock anybody that fight? Lock it in face. You gotta remember these actives. Whoever Zed goes on, if Zed doesn't go on Twitch, like if he goes on Gnar there, then sure, use all your stuff on Gnar. Lock it, lock it. Run. I think you still have both of these available. So what I want you to do, like, number 1 way that I want you to improve here is I just want you to use those items just on anybody in a fight. Like, ideally, you need to be looking for Zed, and whoever Zed goes on, that's who you put it on. But at a bare minimum, they need to be on cooldown at the end of a fight. Just anybody. Just use the cooldowns. And I mean, I'm guilty of that too. You know, sometimes I won't use cooldowns in fights, but like you went that entire, like, basically 3 different fights. You had a fight here, you had a fight here, and then you had a fight over here without using exhaust, face, and locket. So you got to use it somewhere. It has to be on cooldown. That's the number 1 step to sort of improving micro, is just make sure everything's on cooldown. You didn't use your ult either. So everything needs to be on cooldown at the end of fights at like 30 minutes. You can do everything you possibly can to win these fights. So, and then you can worry about, you know, afterwards, after all your stuff is always on cooldown when you go back, then you can worry about using it a little bit better. Then you can say, okay, maybe I could have shielded, you know, a little bit faster. Maybe I could have, you know, ulted a different target, or maybe I could have exhausted a different target. And that's fine. You know, that's going to happen. There are always ways to optimize. But the number 1 thing is just don't let perfection be the enemy of the good, right? So just do it. Okay, right here. Ult. Okay, you did use exhaust. You didn't use locket or... Let me back up here. You did use exhaust, but you didn't use locket, and you didn't use face. Like, as soon as they go on them, just immediately. Face, locket, ult. Exhaust. Watch Zed. So what I want you to do right now in these fights, I want you to watch Zed, because remember, the #1 priority for them to win the game, the thing they want to do to win, is Zed kills Twitch. If Zed does not kill Twitch, you win. It's that simple. So what you need to do is don't worry about everything Heimer's doing here. Don't worry about what's going on top lane. I mean, obviously, it's nice if you can focus on all this stuff. But really, your #1 thing you need to do is just figure out what the biggest priority is. How did they win the game? How do you win the game? Stop them from doing what they want to do, and do what you want to do. Do what your team wants you to do. So the way that you win the game is Twitch kills everybody in a team fight. That's what your team's sort of designed to do. Talia can also kill stuff, but Twitch is the #1 thing you want to protect. Coincidentally, that's how they want to win, is by stopping Twitch. That's not always the case. Sometimes the enemy team might want to split push to win. Sometimes they might want to, you know, do some other strategy, hide in bushes or something. But you're both kind of going for the same thing, and it all revolves around Twitch. Either they kill Twitch and win, or you protect Twitch and you win. So that means all you have to do is watch Zed, because everything depends on Zed interacting with Twitch. So when all this is going on right here, don't worry about Heimer, don't worry about Nunu, don't worry about this wave down here until you're able to watch Zed. And as soon as Zed goes in, like that, as soon as you see him do his shadow and go in, just roll your hand across the keyboard. Just everything. Everything you possibly have. Okay, I want to see Locket, Exhaust, Knight's Vow, just everything. Taunt, stand on top of him, press W, ult him. Everything you can possibly do, I want you to do to protect this Twitch. Every fight. Anything that you have. It does, you know, you may not have Exhaust one fight, you may not have ult, just use Locket and Face. Just everything you can possibly do to save that Twitch. So if you stand on top of him, you press your W, then it's not going to let Zed auto-attack him for damage. You know, obviously, if you can taunt him, that's a good thing. But the #1 thing is make sure he doesn't get blown up. So throw both shields on him immediately. That's #1. Shield both. And then if you have Exhaust, exhaust him. If you have ult, ult him. But #1, Zed goes in, Locket, Face immediately. And I put... my first 2 keys I put on T and I put on G. So I put T as my #1 key. So I usually put Face the Mountain on that. And then I put G as my #2 key. And then that way I don't have, my hand doesn't have to go, you know, all the way over to the 1 key or the 2 key. Or I don't have to try to do it with my pinky or anything like that. I just figure it's much more accurate and it's faster for me to just do T and G for my #1. And I put both of my item actives on #1 and #2. So you can do something like that with hotkeys if it helps you remember. It's just faster. It takes a little while to get used to that. But just whatever it is that'll help you remember to use these item actives. Okay, so let me walk you through it here. Let me actually slow this down a little bit. Okay, here we go. Maybe not that slow. Zed. Okay, so you need to be thinking Code Red, Zed. Alright? Code Red, Zed. So you need to be standing next to Twitch, and you need to watch him like a hawk. You know exactly what Zed's going to do, right? He's going to walk up. He's going to use his shadow to close the distance. Then he's going to ult. Okay, so he's running. Okay, so you should be thinking, okay, right here, right here. I'm looking to lock it. I'm looking to face. No, get closer, get closer. You know Zed's going to go for it. Shield. Both shields. Drop a W on him right now. Exhaust. You did taunt him. Exhaust is late. But it needs to be just shields. Immediately. Shields first, and then do the exhaust and taunt. Just, you gotta make sure you get those shields off. And then you can ult him also. I know it's a lot of buttons, but that's why I'm saying just press them all. Press all the buttons. The order really doesn't matter too much, you know, for your purposes here. Run, just run. Everybody's dead. Everybody's dead, just run. Once Twitch dies, it's over. You just gotta run. And I want you to stand closer so you could drop that W on him too. So you need to be like on that Twitch. Okay. Zed's gonna get him probably. Everyone's just throwing. They might get Baron off of this. Well, yeah. You know, you might also gently, like, ask Twitch to get a GA or something here. Just say, hey, Twitch, I'm doing the best that I can, you know, can you get a GA or, like, switch out your boots for Ninja Tabi or just something like that. See if you can get him to get some armor. GA'd be the best. Or, I'm trying to think of anything else that would be good here. Maybe... I don't know about Sterax. I don't think it's good on 80 carries anymore. It used to be an old school item. I mean, he's not critting, so Randuin's wouldn't do anything. Like, he could maybe get a Dead Man's Plate or something. That would help if he wants to go assassinate people. But I still think GA is just the best right now, this late in the game. No, he needs to leave. Okay, you need to watch him right now with your ult. Make sure you're watching him. Because Zed is, like, 100% going to come down here and kill Twitch, right? Ult him, ult him, ult him, ult him. Ult him. Okay, well, they got him, but you should definitely ult that. As soon as Pantheon jumps on him like that. Somebody's coming for this Twitch, right? Like, I don't well, whatever. We're not coaching Talia, so we won't worry about what Talia's doing this game. But... I guess. I mean, you have eyes on him. Yeah, it's too slow. Yeah, y'all need Twitch. Probably a good call. You need a Knight's Vow. You absolutely need a Knight's Vow. No Warmogs. Warmogs is nice for the health. I know what you're thinking probably. It's a lot of bonus health. That scales really well with your passive. You know, it scales well with a lot of Shen stuff. The extra HP. But it's not worth. You need, like I said, the major thing is not you dying. You don't matter. You're not going to die in most fights, right? You're already mega tanky. What matters is Twitch dying, and having that extra 12% mitigation is pretty big from Shen. It also makes you tankier. So it's not like you're giving up tankiness to get Knight's Vow. It makes you really tanky. So it's just a much, much better item than Warmogs. You see Warmogs on, like, top lane Shen sometimes, but that's a different thing. Like, as the support, you need to get things that protect the AD carry. You need to get over here then. Okay. Ult Twitch, ult Twitch, ult Twitch. Ult him, ult him, ult him. Ult. 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 Yeah, you gotta work on these ults. I know it's something that you mentioned in the email. Yeah, Nunu doesn't matter. He's already dead here. The thing is, like, I know it's a lot to handle, too, all of this stuff. Like, that's one problem with if you go for a lot of item actives. And, you know, having someone who requires a lot of vision in, you know, macro situations like this. I think the easiest thing, though, is just become very single-minded. Especially with this team comp, it's very single-minded. It's Twitch. Okay, so just everything that you're doing... I know I sound like a broken record, but... And I know it can be confusing to figure out who do I ult, when do I ult, like, what do I exhaust, how do I do all these shields? Like, there's just so many abilities, right? Because you have your 3 normal abilities, then you have your ult, then you have your exhaust, then you have your Face of the Mountain, then you have your Locket. That's 7 different things you need to do in a fight, right? So that's a lot. That's a lot to keep up with. And so that's why it helps just to be very single-minded focus and just understand what matters and what doesn't. And then just spam all of the abilities at this level of play, right? It doesn't have to be picture perfect, but it all needs to be on cooldown. Right? So that's why I'm telling you, just stand on top of Twitch and just roll your hand across the keyboard. You know, not quite like that, but pretty close. Just use everything on Twitch. And you have 5 different enemies that are all doing different abilities. Ult, use that Locket, face him, everything. See how they're just running at him? They just have a single-minded purpose. Okay, you use the stuff. Face, lock it. Watch Twitch. Just keep watching him. Okay, he finally got a GA. He should have gotten GA as like third item, but that's fine. Did you use everything? Now I can't tell if you're using this or not. Like this might be glitched. It looks like everyone else's items are showing up as on cooldown though. Like everyone's using their stuff, right? So I'm suspecting that you're just not using that stuff. So you gotta use it. You gotta use it. So like whenever a fight starts, just go ahead and lock it. You know, just stand next to Twitch and just go ahead and lock it. Don't worry about if people are at like 10% health or what. You need to get out of here. Leave, 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 leave. There's nothing else you're gonna do here. Once you get an inhibitor, it's done. Okay, good. And I've seen you try this a couple of times too. Don't worry about using the Q to slow people. Use your Q for extra damage. So wait until you combo that with an E for an engage. And keep an eye on Twitch. Always watch Twitch on your minimap. Okay, they surrendered? Okay. That's kind of anticlimactic, but okay. Alright, so let's get back in here and take a look at this. You know, I want to say, like, don't go, like, if you can't consistently use item actives, then you should probably just, like, get items that don't have actives on them. That's historically what I would say, but right now, like, all of the best items are actives, pretty much, with Ingenious Hunter Ruby. So, you gotta learn how to do it. You gotta work with them. And I think sometimes it's easy to forget, but you just need to put it to the front of your mind. Like at the start of the fight, I'm going to press these two buttons. Like I'm just going to use lock it. I'm going to use face. Doesn't matter where. Like if you just lock it right when a fight starts, I'll guarantee you that it's going to... people are going to eat through the shield. It's going to be effective, right? I think sometimes, you know, we think, okay, I'm going to go into a fight, and then I'm going to wait until somebody's low, and then I'm going to lock it at the last second to save them, or I'm going to face at the last second to save them. And you get so caught up with everything going on that we just forget, like, oh crap, I didn't use my actives. Where just use them immediately. Like I said, don't even worry about if people were getting low to try to save them at the last second or whatever. You'll notice a lot of times in my games, like with redemption and things in a fight, if I have redemption up, as soon as someone starts the fight, someone jumps in, I just immediately cast redemption. Because I know that it's going to heal somebody. They're all going to be like clumped up in the start of this fight. And then lock it's the same way. You just, as soon as the fight starts, just press lock it. And it'll be effective, most likely. Now, is that the absolute perfect lock it usage? Probably not. I mean, you can wait until you see big abilities. And then use lock it. But... at this level, just do it. I mean, you know, at higher level play, people might try to bait your locket, you know, in like Diamond or something. You might see a Zed go in and like fake like he's going to ult and then see if he can get you to bust your locket early, and then he waits till locket's down and then he ults and goes in. No one's going to do that in Bronze. Like, Zed's just going to go in and immediately ult. He's not even going to look for locket shields most of the time. He's not going to look to bait out Face of the Mountain or locket or anything like that, or to try to bait your exhaust. He's just straight up just going to go on Twitch every single time. So is Pantheon. So that's why I'm saying just use all of your item actives. Because it's better if it's on cooldown, even if you did it too early, even if it's on the wrong target with Face of the Mountain or whatever, it's fine. Just make sure it's on cooldown. Okay. So that's the number one biggest thing. Okay, so that's the number one thing that I want you to do, and I'll guarantee you will gain a ton of elo if you just do that. Just use everything. I mean, obviously, like, don't waste flash or something like that. But even exhaust is on a fairly low cooldown. It's on like a 3-minute cooldown. It might even be 2.5 minutes. I don't remember exactly, but just use it. You know, just like fight starts, there's a big damage threat, there's a Pantheon, there's a Zed. You're close enough to him, just exhaust him, you know. is do everything in every major fight. Especially if you take the Ingenious Hunter Ruby Sightstone, you know, Face the Mountain is going to be up like every 20 seconds or something with that build. Locket's going to be up every like 36 seconds with that build. So just don't even worry about the cooldowns. Just use it every fight. Okay, so just identify how do you win the game, okay? Because, you know, there's so much stuff going on and you're trying to remember all your item actives and everyone else is using all these abilities and you've got a mini-map, is something flanking you? There's all this stuff going on. I know it can get very confusing and overwhelming and you won't see everything. So what you want to do is just make it very single-minded, right? Just use everything, as I keep saying, in a fight, but then also just watch your win condition. Just watch Twitch. It doesn't matter what Nunu's doing. It doesn't matter what Talia's doing. It doesn't matter what Misfortune's doing. Just look at Twitch in this comp and make sure that he stays alive and you win. That's it. Now, there might be another, you know, there might be another game where you have a Kha'Zix or something that's like 10-0. And maybe you have a Twitch in that game that's like 0-5. You might want to switch over to Kha'Zix and just watch Kha'Zix. You say, you know what? He's the super fed person. That's what's going to win us the game. So I'm going to watch this person like a hawk and do everything I can to make sure they win. Or maybe you've got a split pushing Tryndamere. It's like 7-0. You can say, okay, Tryndamere's how we win. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to help Tryndamere. And you go and you ward, you know, in the jungle where he's trying to split push. You might even be like waiting in a bush, so that when two people come for him, you can jump out of the bush and surprise him and kill him. Or maybe you just give him the wards and you just tell the rest of your team, hey, back up. Let Tryndamere do his thing. Wait on two people to go up there, and then we go push. So maybe all you need to do is just create pressure in like the mid and the bot lane and just let him do his thing top lane. But just try to become very single-minded. Don't watch everything. Don't think about all of the possibilities. Just watch your one thing that you think is going to win you the game, gives you the best chance. Watch that. So you don't need to watch everything in a team fight. Just watch Twitch and just say, nobody's going to kill this Twitch. That's what you need to think in your mind. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. I'm not going to let them kill Twitch. Okay, so don't worry about hitting your Q to slow people elsewhere, or maybe like taunting to help out the Talia or any of that other stuff. It's just straight up, I'm going to watch Twitch. I'm doing everything in my power to make sure this guy doesn't die. So just whatever your win condition is in a game, think about that, become very single-minded, and just say, I'm going to do this to the best of my ability, whatever the win is. And try to, if you want, you can think about what are they going to try to do to win, and shut that down. That's a little more advanced. I think if you just start with how do you win, focus on that, that's the best. But if you want to, you can think about what do they want to do, and think about shutting that down as well. Coincidentally, in this game, it's the same thing. They want to kill Twitch, you want to protect Twitch. But it might be different in other games. But I think the best way to start with, use all actives, protect whatever your #1 asset is. Okay, other things that are Shen specific. Okay, make sure that you hit enemies with the Q-blade. So a lot of times it's just one extra step, right? So just one more step to the right, one more step to the left. Just make sure that blade is going to pass through them. There were several times where the blade just connected with you, and it didn't pass through them, so that you didn't get that empowered extra damage. It's a lot of extra damage. It's 50% attack speed, and it's even more on-hit max HP damage. So you want to make sure that you're hitting enemies, that you're getting the maximum amount out of your Q. Okay, so you want to watch your ult. Whenever your ult is up, once again, you're single-minded. You're thinking, I'm going to ult this Twitch. Okay? So use all of your item actives, and then just immediately ult the Twitch. It doesn't matter if they knock you out of the ult. That's fine. It's still going to give him the shield. So even if he's standing right next to you, you're ulting to give him that 500, 600 shield. So if Zed ults him, just go ahead and ult him. Okay, now there are more advanced things you could do. You could split push and then come in, or you could ward in a different place and then ult. But there were so many ults where it was like on a Nunu who was about to die, or you were ulting just somebody else just running around in a random place on the map. Like you were trying to start a fight with an ult, like when Nunu was middle and you ulted and you ran down the misfortune. You don't really want to do that as support Shen a lot of times. You just want to ult and protect your priority target with that shield. So just use the ult on a priority target. Make sure if it's up, you're going to use it in a team fight. Okay. So don't go aggressive bot lane if you know the jungler could be there, unless you have vision. Okay, so unless you see the jungler topside, unless you you know they're gonna be topside, like their red just spawned, or you know there's just some other inclination that they might be top. Like maybe you just use the sweeping bush or the sweeping plant to see that they're not bottom. You know, unless you know for sure that they're not bottom, then they could be. Especially with a Pantheon, because Pantheon can just run up the lane and then ult and land in the bot side, so he doesn't even have to go through the jungle. So if Pantheon has his ult, and it's on a low cooldown, and you're pushed up that far, you need to be very careful, because he could jump on you. So you need to ward deep in his jungle. Like I was trying to say, this is kind of what you do against Evelynn or other invisible type of champions. Rengar, you ward their camp. So you ward his wolves and you ward his blue. So that will let you know if he's down here. If he's in this area, you need to back up until you see him walk over here to the other side of the map. So you need to respect that Pantheon. He has a lot of power, especially level 6. Ganking you. And on that note, you need to be warding more too. Like you got those 4 wards early, you need to walk up here and ward. Especially as Shen, because one nice perk about Shen is you can go up and like ward here and ward the wolves. You don't have to worry as much about Twitch getting ganged up on bot lane, because you can always ult and show up down there if they decide to engage on him. So just ping Twitch back, let him know you're going to go ward. And then if they do happen to engage on him, you can ult and come down there and potentially turn it around. So just watch out for that. So I'm going to say... So ward deeper in the jungle, especially because you can go back and help your laner out. Because like a typical problem with a lot of supports is if you go into the jungle, if you try to ward deep, that's going to take you longer. So it might take you 15 seconds to get back to your lane. And that's 15 seconds that your AD carry is almost surely going to get engaged on and killed in bronze. So, but if you have the ult as Shen, then you can get back down there. So that allows you to go deeper. And Shen's very safe, like we said earlier. So if Pantheon happens to catch you out in the jungle, you know, maybe you're trying to come over here and get his wolves, or like ward his wolves, and maybe he comes walking through here, finds you, like stuns you, and then the mid laner starts rotating over. A lot of times you'd be in big trouble as a support, right? Because they're cutting you off. But as Shen, you know, you can just shadow dash over this wall and get away from him. Or maybe you're trying to, like, you know, come up here to ward and the jungler happens to be right here. They see you, oh crap, you can just shadow dash over the wall and get away. So Shen is very, very safe in terms of escaping with deep wards. So I think that means you need a lot more vision, especially against Pantheon. So control the enemy plants more. It's just really simple once you put your mind to it. Just always hit their plants. Just go in there, knock out their blast plant, knock out their dust plant, just take it away from them. Because that dust plant is going to give them intel about your vision. It's going to let them clear your wards for free without having to use a sweeper. And the blast plant lets Pantheon get down to the bottom lane even if he doesn't have his ult. So, you know, it's really easy, especially with Shen, to get rid of those blast plants. Because you can just shadow dash over. This is the same thing that I do with Rakan. You just shadow dash over, then use the blast plant to knock you back where you were. And it seems really simple. This would also let you get a nice ward in this tri-bush if you want. That's a popular place where Pantheon would go so that he could ult bottom. Would be like walking in this tri-bush. Like do Gromp, come down here, and then ult. Yeah, just shadow dash over, drop a ward here if you want, drop a ward here if you want, and then blast plant back over. Or if you're on dragon side, you can dash over, put a ward, or if you're on red side, you can dash over, ward is red, and then just blast plant back over. So while you're getting those blast plants, that's also an opportunity for you to get some deeper vision in there and have the safety of being able to escape with the blast plant. So just make sure you're hitting that stuff. Go through there, knock out the health, and, you know, refill your health in the river whenever you're going up to ward. So just really control those plants and make sure the enemy doesn't get good use of them. And I think that's pretty much it. Let me say one final thing. So there were a few times where you overstayed, especially with the Talia middle, and you are, I hate to use the word baiting, because I don't think that's accurate, because it's not necessarily your fault that this stuff's going on, but you are giving your allies too much confidence to get into those bad situations. So Talia got caught, and she probably would have left if you hadn't been there. So it's not your fault that she is there, but she's only there because she thinks she has backup from you, right? And so just leaving after dead plays. After you get a tower, back up, go do something. After you get a kill, back up, go buy something. Get an inhibitor, back up. So just think, what's the objective? What are we trying to do here? Then after you complete that, then just back off, usually go buy something, get some more wards, reset, and then look to go to the next objective. Okay, so that's going to be it. I think this is pretty long. Yeah, it's a much longer one than usual, but I do know that people have been interested in Shen, so I did want to talk about that a little bit more early on. Okay, so thank you very much once again for the donation. Anyone that's interested, if you want a coaching session, just email me at distractedprofessor@gmail.com. I can set you up with that. I am making it one of my New Year's resolutions to try to have at least a maximum of a 3-day turnaround on these. So I'm going to try to do the coaching sessions much faster than I did last year. I know I had some family and school stuff going on, and I was, you know, a little bit slower than I'd like to be last year for sure. But I'm, you know, going to be a lot faster this year. 3 days. Maximum, and I'll try to do it even faster than that to get these coaching sessions done, get them out there, because I know that when people get a coaching session, you know, they want to hear about it like really quickly, right? You want those results, you want to get in a solo queue and put some of that you know, new education to work. So that's going to be it. Thank you very much as always, and I'll see y'all next time.